Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro. Today is December 23rd, 2022, and we're looking at the forecast for a new moon in the cardinal Earth sign of Capricorn, which occurred at 5:17 a.m. Eastern Time in the midst of what was probably the worst storm I've ever seen where I live. So power was affected, and I had a very busy day during the day with plenty of calls. I think people are trying to get in to see me before the holiday. So I am late with this, and I'm late with my newsletter, but I did get this forecast posted at about 1 in the morning earlier today. So let's take a look at what this has to say for you for this new moon in Capricorn. New moon in Capricorn, Friday, December 23rd, evokes a nostalgic yearning for times which seemed simpler and more secure than the present, as the moon joins the sun in Capricorn, and together they form a square aspect with Neptune in Pisces conjunct Jupiter in Aries. If you are spending time with children during this holiday season, you may be sharing activities and stories with them that are traditional in your family. And anything new you try for fun now could become an enduring and poignant memory. Capricorn is the cardinal earth sign ruled by steady Saturn that is associated with the 10th house of career, authority, reputation, and mastery. You will feel the weight of responsibility or a desire to achieve greater success and recognition in whatever area of life this new moon activates in your natal chart. Before you put new moon plans into motion, there may be things you must release and lessons to process due to the moon squaring Neptune and Jupiter, as well as Saturn in Aquarius squaring Uranus conjunct the North Node in Taurus. Venus, Mercury, and Pluto in Capricorn trine to Uranus North Node and sextile to Neptune Jupiter suggest you take the time to consider the ramifications of making or breaking commitments and contracts. Between December 29th, when Mercury turns retrograde, and January 12th, when Mars turns direct, you may have regrets over premature decisions, or you will be revising your plans or backing out of agreements. Plant your new moon seeds in the dark of your private thoughts until you feel confident in bringing them forward. Holiday activities give your mind and body the break you need from the daily grind, but you may be working just as hard, maybe even competing, to have or to host the best experience ever. Over-the-top gifts and gestures are impressive, but the time you share with those you love is the most valuable present you can give and receive. So let's take a look at how the sky is looking right now, where the planets are sitting, and see how that new moon looks. So the chart has simplified a bit, where we no longer have as many interaspects as we had in the last few months, particularly while we were going through the Scorpio season. Things were a bit rough. In many ways, things are a little bit easier now. However, with Mars still in retrograde, the duality of Mars and the indecision or vacillation, or things changing in the moment just as you're ready to move forward, because Mars is an action-oriented planet, things can come up that alter what your decisions are. It's important to stay very flexible and be ready to change on a dime, to turn on a dime and just do whatever comes up in front of you as you need to respond to things in the moment. Future planning has not been easy, especially as we went through the expansive Sagittarius season, and there was further mutable energy under the fire element as we went through the Sagittarius season. Now we're into the Capricorn season, which is concerned with form and structure and laying down the foundations, being disciplined. Practice, practice, practice makes perfect. The repetition, the determination to climb that ladder of success. And you can see that Venus and Mercury are very close now to Pluto in Capricorn. So the feeling that it has to be completed, done, or it has to be the very best, it has to be right, is some of what these three planets joining forces together are impressing upon you. And your dreams or goals may be quite big because of this sextile here to Neptune in Pisces and Jupiter in Aries. And we've got cardinal energy going on now with Jupiter. It recently, this week, I can't remember what day, but it shifted out of Pisces and into Aries. So it came out of the water, moved into the fire, and Aries is a cardinal fire sign that initiates things and is very self-aware. Its expression is I am, and it's still close enough to Neptune that some of those dreams or that aiming for something idealistic and perfect is motivating you. We have a bit more aggression, assertion, and desire to act, but we still have retrograde Mars, and that is a planet of action, and it is in a dualistic, mutable sign. And we're going to have Mercury going retrograde very soon, a couple more days, about 6 more days, and it will be retrograding back in Capricorn as the sun moves toward it and Mercury is moving in retrograde. You may find that you have to basically get more practical, more realistic, work out the finer points of any plans. Maybe you will have to try harder, or you will have to be more persistent or more patient as you're aiming very high. And if your plans involve other people, there is that uncertainty that comes from Mars in Gemini and the fact that it is a little more squirrely than usual. It's already in a sign that can scatter energy, is highly mentally creative and curious and imaginative and communicative, but it also can be all over the place. And this will come out of its retrograde. Mars will come out on January the 12th, but you won't see Mercury come out of retrograde until January the 18th. We have a new moon occurring on January 21st, and it will be at 1 degree of Aquarius, and that may be the trigger for now your plan launches, or now you are free in some way of the things that have been limiting you. But I would work on the preparation, and I would just keep trying, striving, maintaining as much control and composure over yourself as possible. There can be stubbornness as well as, I would say, frustration if you feel that you're doing something that's unique or genius, or if you feel that it's supposed to be happening faster. Uranus is bringing that genius energy in, as well as the impulse to move very quickly. But it is squaring the ruling planet of Capricorn. It's in Aquarius, and it is making a square here between Uranus and Saturn, and we've all been dealing with this square for quite a while. We'll continue with this square for a bit, and you can see it in society where there are changes and there's resistance to change, and where the sliding backwards into the past or more conservative energy versus progress and freedom or the future is what the Uranus energy is representing. And it is quite confusing. It's also affecting economy and money, society as a whole, because Aquarius does rule humanity, society, and the systems that support society governmentally, and Taurus rules money. So we're having a lot of upheaval in that area as well. That very beginning energy here in Capricorn, of course, signals a new beginning. We're at the new moon, but being that first degree, there may not be the full comprehension of something yet, or the full mastery of something yet. And it may take a bit of time for you to get there before you feel that you've achieved that level of mastery. However, you may believe yourself to be fully capable, and it might not be until you have those mistakes occur and make the adjustments that you realize that you were just in that Capricorn cardinal, I know I'm right energy, especially while it's squaring Jupiter in Aries, which definitely thinks it's right as well. That's the nature of the cardinal signs, that they have a desire to be right and they can believe themselves to be right, and it makes them good bosses and leaders because they're not sitting around doubting themselves. Whether they're right or they're wrong is almost irrelevant. It's about the energy that they are projecting. So we have a good balance of the cardinal, fixed, and mutable placements right now in the sky, well distributed, and we are heaviest on Earth at the moment and lightest on water. And that, of course, will shift when we get into the Pisces season in late February, early March, and we begin to have Sun, Mercury, Venus active. Right around Valentine's Day is when we usually get something pinging that Pisces energy. And as we get toward the end of February, it becomes stronger. So until then, it feels as though we have the instinctual energy, but not quite as much empathy or the merging of boundaries that we had back in the Scorpio season in November. Now there's much more determination to get to the top. Basically, that's what Capricorn is about. Now, it can also be strong parental energy with that mastery, authority, and boss-like nature. And sometimes that requires being a disciplinarian, being tough on those beneath you, doing the hard things in a leadership role, whether it's within your own family or on a job where you may have to be tougher and expect more from people. And while you're doing that, you're probably more aware of yourself and the fact that other people are watching you and your actions and behavior if you are in a position where you can be critiquing others. The energy of Capricorn can be kind of judgy, judgmental, and critical, but often that is what is needed to bring something into its highest form of, what's the right word, usability, where it can be safe, reliable, it's not going to break down, it's going to be something that can be either replicated, like a system or a program that can be replicated and other people can depend upon it. The rules of society and why we follow them, even if sometimes they seem extremely restrictive, are in place for the greater good and the protection of everyone in society as a whole. So rules, form, structure, order are Capricorn concerns, and sometimes we lose sight of the fact that it is a feminine sign, and the feminine signs are supportive of growth and they can be nurturing. It's just that the nurturing energy of Capricorn comes across in a very stern way, and yet that is an important thing, to train something up properly through that discipline until there is mastery, whether you are gaining control and mastery over something in yourself or whether you're taking that energy out into the world. And it may also be that you're put into positions where you have to do that, where you have to be tougher and show that you do have what it takes to become a leader or a boss. Depending on what area of life these transits are occurring for you, that can affect how that Capricorn energy is used, whether you're feeling it passively or you're using it actively, would depend a lot on the houses where this new moon occurred. So if you do know your own natal chart, you can look to see where you find that Capricorn symbol and look for the house number on the inside of the wheel, and you'll be able to see which house that new moon is occurring in your natal chart. And if you don't know, there are free chart resources all over the internet. I have one up on my website where you can plunk in your birth data and have your chart pop up for you, and you'll see where you have Capricorn energy in your chart. And we are all the signs to varying degrees. The aspects that the planets make to each other will determine your traits, characteristics, talents, challenges, and point you in a direction of best way to manifest the highest out of your natal chart as you go through life. I will be mentioning right now that I'm not going to be available tomorrow, Sunday, the 24th to 25th, but I will be back in office on the 26th. I will not be posting any forecast tomorrow or Sunday as well. Doing some just family time and enjoying holiday things like baking and eating and catching up on some sleep. So here's the link on the home page here for free natal chart if you want to pull up your own natal chart and see which house you have Capricorn in. And you can always Google astrology cheat sheet online, and it will list the 12 houses and their meanings for you, so you can kind of meld that Capricorn energy into the meaning of the house and see where you've got that extra boost of authority or mastery for you in the next 2 weeks until we get to a full moon coming up near the first week in January. We're just past the first week in January. We've also got, let me show you what it looks like. The Day Watch calendar. If you would like to keep track of the moon over the course of this year, there's a program I have to print out, or you can just save it on your computer as a file, the Day Watch calendar, which will tell you what sign the moon is in on any given day. And it color codes the days to give you an idea of the high energy, more physical, more challenging days. The black days are neutral, the green days are easy flowing and more supportive. And it will show you the aspects that are going on in your own natal chart in blue, the aspects that are going on in the transits in the sky. And the report that comes along with this gives an interpretation of every single one of those aspects you see on each calendar day, what it might mean for you, and the exact time that it occurs. When there is a lunation occurring, it gives you the time that it occurs in your time zone, and when the moon is changing signs, it will give you the time that the moon changes signs in your time zone. So that is available on my site. If you're looking for a calendar for this year, it's a very useful tool. It is under astrology. And there's the link for it right at the bottom of the page. I'm skipping the Sabian symbol today. I just read through it, and it brought me down so badly because it was really talking about the polarity in and misuse of power, and I just am choosing to see the positive that's in society right now and in the stars right now. We have some subconscious things going on in this chart with these little black dotted lines that you see. Those aspects create an unconscious type of an energy that you're not fully aware of, something you're not thinking about. But the sun and the moon here in that sesquiquadrate to Uranus and the North Node, it's a feeling of change, imminent change, most likely for the better, constructive changes. And that would be a strong subliminal motivation for you. But I don't feel that it's going to be fast or sudden change. I feel like things have to line up properly. The right person, the right place, the right time, because the North Node is involved. And we have the same kind of aspect going on here with Mars, a planet of action, and Pluto, a planet of transformation. And Pluto is winding down on its transit through Capricorn. It will enter Aquarius soon, and then it retrogrades back out into Capricorn after a few months. But we're going to distinctly feel the difference in Pluto moving out of Capricorn and into Aquarius in the months ahead. And I feel like this is like a little subliminal quickening. It may actually produce kind of a fear that, you know, when an animal gets that ridge along their spine when their fur stands up, when they're sensing something. Your own spidey senses may be tingling over something, but you don't know what it is yet. You don't know what you need to be thinking about, worried about, prepared for, or um, ready to react and respond. But you sense that there's going to be something that's going to require a large amount of energy because those are the demands of Mars and Pluto. So I think things are just beginning, but it's just like the seed planted in the dark. And we are at the darkest time of the year, but we had the solstice 2 days ago. And now each day that goes by, the light increases, even though it's just a tiny little bit. But in about a month, 6 weeks, you'll notice that the days are lighter, longer, and you'll start seeing those little tiny signs of spring to come. But in the meantime, listen, tune in to yourself, make time to be by yourself and be quiet. And what are you feeling in your bones? What do you feel is coming up for you that you should prepare for? I don't think we can fully know while we have Uranus dominating right now, but you can definitely prepare yourself so that you're not caught off guard when something in your life does change, or where you are ready to make that change in yourself or for yourself, whether that change is something that's going to happen to you or you initiate. Be ready, be prepared, and don't jump too fast right now. Take your time. There may be other options that become clear to you after January 12th when Mars comes out of retrograde, and then you might be glad that you didn't jump really quick at this new moon and you gave it a little bit more time to develop. Take care, stay safe in your travels. We actually are not too bad with travel aspects for this holiday weekend, but the weather's rough. Take your time, and of course, please do not drink and drive. Take care, and I will see you after the new year.